Crunchy goodness for hunger on the go.
Tonight, on First at 9 this Saturday, the 18th of January 2025. Continued support. China committed to assisting Sri Lanka in upholding sovereignty. Reiterates Chinese envoy. Prime Minister pledges to ensure an impartial justice system. Plot thickens. Planned terror attack on Arugambe was to be executed by former LTTE members, reveals the Terrorism Investigation Division. Destination Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka crowned the 9th best destination of 2025 by BBC Travel. Extending agreements. China-Sri Lanka bilateral currency swap agreement renewed and extended for another 3 years.
Chilo Dairy, Sri Lankawama Kiren Perata. ඔබේ විශ්වාසය දෙනු සෙන්සුරයින් දැන් ළඟමැති ෆාමසියෙන් ලබාගත හැක.
කන්ට පරිස්සම් කරගත්තොත්
අපි පරිස්සම්.
Asian Paints Causeway Aquasafe වැස්සත් මට්ටුවෙන් ගෙදරත් තිස්නේ.
From Derana, this is Derana First at 9. Live from Studio 24 in Colombo.
Good evening and welcome to First at 9 on Sri Lanka's most trusted news source, Derana. I'm Tarindu Mahendra, joining you live with the latest in Sri Lanka and around the world. In your top story tonight, Chinese ambassador to Sri Lanka, Chi Zhenhong, reiterated the commitment of the Chinese government to assisting the people of Sri Lanka in the years ahead, enabling Sri Lanka to uphold sovereignty and achieve economic progress. Speaking at the inauguration of the renovated Court of Appeal building in Halfstorp, the Chinese ambassador highlighted that during President Dissanayaka's recent state visit to China, the Sri Lankan and Chinese presidents expressed readiness in expanding bilateral ties across various fields as well as advancing the Belt and Road Initiative. Meanwhile, speaking at the same event, Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya said that it is the government's intention to ensure that no individual is burdened, oppressed or intimidated in their journey and their pursuit of justice. The refurbished Court of Appeal building in Halfstorp was inaugurated today under the patronage of Prime Minister Dr. Harini Amarasuriya. The Court of Appeal building was renovated with financial assistance of 240 million yuan from the Chinese government. The inauguration ceremony saw the participation of Chinese Ambassador to Sri Lanka Chi Zhenhong, Chief Justice Murthy Fernando and Minister of Justice and National Integration Harshana Nanayakara.
The friendship between Sri Lanka and China is one of historical significance and profound depth. In 1957, Sri Lanka proudly became one of the first countries to formally recognize the People's Republic of China, solidifying our diplomatic ties. Since then, this relationship has grown into a robust partnership marked by mutual respect, shared development goals and non-interference. China has been a steadfast partner in Sri Lanka's development journey, contributing significantly to our infrastructure projects, cultural understanding and educational programs. Their unwavering support has made today's achievement possible. As we celebrate the completion of this first phase, we eagerly anticipate the completion of the next phase, scheduled for 17th of October 2025. This project is not just about refurbishing a building, it is about creating a judicial system that is responsive, efficient and accessible to all citizens of Sri Lanka.
By creating inclusiveness and respectful spaces and engaging in respectful treatment of all actors that animate this system, including everyone who comes here, who are embroiled in pursuits of justice, who may have faced years of difficulties in actually getting to this space. We ensure that these public spaces and the treatment that people receive from the moment they enter these spaces does not burden, intimidate or oppress or even harass them in their journey and their pursuit of justice. We are then all engaged in the pursuit of justice and we are all facilitating the best environment in which we can deliver justice. But that as women, we do have specific gendered experiences, particularly of how power, privilege works in our society, how difficult it can be to counter social practices, even laws, that seek to maintain the status quo and those systems of power and privilege. I truly believe that these experiences that women have had, they can bring to leadership. Also, we are well aware of how lack of access to justice can increase insecurity, risk, and vulnerability. How important a fair and accessible system of justice is for our protection. So this is why I think seeing more and more women in positions of leadership is important in ensuring that our institutions also reflect that inclusiveness, representation, and equality that we as a country are seeking to achieve.
This event marks a significant milestone in the enduring friendship and fruitful cooperation between China and Sri Lanka. Just yesterday, I had the honor of accompanying His Excellency President Derana on his first state visit to China. During this visit, President Derana and President Xi Jinping held a warm and productive meeting where they exchanged in-depth views on strengthening our traditional friendship, advancing the Belt and Road Initiative, and expanding practical cooperation in various fields. The two leaders reached broad consensus and achieved significant outcomes, laying a solid foundation for the future development of our bilateral relations. The two leaders reached a unanimous decision to jointly advance the building of a China-Sri Lanka community with shared future. We jointly build a community with shared future between China and Sri Lanka. China and Sri Lanka share friendship that spans over 7 decades. The Chinese government and people has always been ready to extend a helping hand to our Sri Lanka friends, providing assistance to the fullest extent of our capability. History has consistently demonstrated that the deep China-Sri Lanka cooperation strengthens Sri Lanka's ability to uphold sovereignty, achieve economic progress, and counter external challenges. We will continue to serve the people of Sri Lanka for generations. Together, let us keep our strategic comprehensive partnership, foster a China-Sri Lanka community with shared future and bright great benefit for our countries and people.
පිරිපුන් ජීවිතයකට ඔබ සමගින් පෙරට Union Assurance.
Welcome to Cinnamon Life, South Asia's biggest entertainment hub, where awe awaits.
චන්දුරුසුමේ කාගෙන් මන අපේ සිංහ TV සඳහා සුපිරි ඩීල්.
Sadaharita Plantations Limited, celebrating 22 years of your trust.
Crunchy goodness for hunger on the go.
Minister of Energy Kumara Jayakodi assures government will implement the electricity tariff reduction as recommended by the Public Utilities Commission. The minister said government is willing to bear the burdens the decision entails with a view to providing relief to the public as well as industries.
The Public Utilities Commission of Sri Lanka yesterday announced that the electricity tariffs effective for the next 6 months will be reduced by an average of 20% across all categories. Under this tariff revision, the hotel sector saw the largest reduction in tariffs, receiving a tariff reduction of 31%, while the industrial sector and religious and charitable institutions received reductions of 30% and 21% respectively. Domestic electricity tariffs have been reduced by 20%, while government institutions and public services are to receive tariff reductions of 11% and 12% respectively. Issuing a special statement yesterday, the Ministry of Energy stated that the electricity tariff revision recommended by the PUCSL will be implemented by the Ceylon Electricity Board following the directives of the Ministry of Finance. Meanwhile, today, Minister of Energy Kumara Jayakodi expressed views regarding the tariff revision.
රජයක් විදියට මහජන උපවිදා කොමිසමේ නිර්දේශ අනුව ජනවාරි 17 වෙනිදා රාත්‍රී 12 සිට දිලි බිල 120ක සාමාන්‍ය ආගයක් අඩු කරන බව මෙයින් දන්වා සිටිනවා. රජයක් හැටියට අපිට දරන්න වෙන අපහසුතා දරාගෙන ඉතුලින් මහජනතාවට සහ කර්මාන්ත ශ්‍රේෂ්ඨයට සහනයක් ලබා දීමට ලැබීම පිළිබඳ අපි බෙහෙවින් සතුටු වෙනවා.
And with that, here's a look at some thoughts shared in the political arena regarding the recent electricity tariff reduction.
විදුලි බිල අඩු කිරීම ගැනවත් රජයට පැහැදිලි වැඩ පිළිවෙලක්.
The government lacks a clear program regarding the electricity tariff reduction. The minister in charge does not understand what the electricity board is saying, and this also goes the other way around. Neither party is aware of the requests made by consumers. Both of these parties were opposed to providing the benefits of high profits to the consumers. When certain groups try to disrupt the government's journey and expose their lack of talent, it is the country's citizens who will suffer. However, we request that the government implement the 33% electricity tariff reduction which they promised on the election stage instead of the current 20% reduction. Until this promise is fulfilled, we will continue to participate in a democratic fight both in parliament and outside for the country's citizens.
ප්‍රජාතන්ත්‍රවාදී සටනක නියැලෙනවයි කියන එක අමුක සියලු දෙනාට මේ අවස්ථාවේ ප්‍රකාශ කරනවා.
සාමාන්‍ය පාරිභෝගික ජනතාවගේ විදුලි බිල මධ්‍යයාගේ 20%කින් අඩු වෙනකොට ඊට වඩා වැඩි ප්‍රමාණයකින් අපේ රටේ කර්මාන්තකරුවන්ට විශේෂ සහනයක් මේක ලැබිලා තියෙනවා. මේක ජාතික ජනබලවේගයේ ආණ්ඩුව මේ රටේ ජනතාවට තවත් එක් සහනයක් විදියට විදුලි බිල අඩු කිරීම සලකන්න පුළුවන්.
අපි ලයිට් බිල අඩු කළා කියලා හැම ක්‍රෙඩිට් ගන්න ඉන්න එපා. ඕගොල්ලෝ කිව්වේ අඩු කරන්න බෑ අවුරුදු 3ක් යනකම් කියලා. ඒක තමයි ආණ්ඩුවේ මතය තිබුණේ. මහජන උපයෝගිතා කොමිසමට තමයි ක්‍රෙඩිට් එකක් යනවා නම් යන්න ඕනේ 135කින්ම අඩු කරන්න පුළුවන්. ඇත්ත කතාව ඒකයි. මොකද බිලියන් 275ක ලාභයක් උපයලා තියෙනවා ලංකා විදුලි බල මණ්ඩලයේ 2023 2024.
අඩු වෙන්න ඕනේ අතරම නේද? මොකද මිනිස්සු ඉන්නේ අමාරුවේ. නමුත් රටම ගන්න පාඩපත් කරලානේ මේගොල්ලෝ අංගී. දැන් අපි පොඩ ගොඩ නැගෙන්න ඕනේ.
එක පැත්තකින් මේ ආචාර්යවරු මහාචාර්යවරුන්ට අපිට පේනවා බැරි වුණා හාල් මාෆියාව කඩන්න. අද විදුලි බල මාෆියාවත් කඩන්න බැරි වෙලා තියෙන බව මේකෙන් දැන් ඔප්පු වෙනවා. දැන් මේ දෙකම ෆේල් ආණ්ඩුව. අපි තව කීයක් ෆේල් වෙන ඒවා දකින්නද?
අපිට අයවැයක්වත් නැතුව ජනතාවට සහන දෙන්න රාජ්‍යාංශයේ ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න ටිකක් අමාරු. ඉතින් අපි ඉදිරි අයවැයෙන් මේ අපි අවශ්‍ය කරන ප්‍රතිපාදන හදලා තියෙනවා ජනතාවට විශාල සහන ප්‍රමාණයක් දෙන්න බලාපොරොත්තු වෙනවා.
මම හිතන්නේ සහනයට
More than relief, we see impatience. During the tenure of the government of good governance in 2015, we fulfilled many tasks during our 100-day performance. Food prices and electricity tariffs were reduced by 40%, gas prices were reduced by 100%, and government employees' salaries were increased. We accomplished many such tasks. So we ask the government whether they will be able to provide rice for the new year or for Thai Pongal.
Fast track your career from O levels with eSoft.
ඩයබටිසෝල් සීනි වලින් පරිස්සම් වන ඔබට අමතක නොවන පෝෂණය.
ප්‍රයිම් ගෲප් ලංකාවේ ප්‍රථම වතාවට හඳුන්වා දෙන ලෑන්ඩ් ලීසින් ලේසියෙන් මීටමක්.
Single 1111 up to 60% off from the 11th November to the 17th of November.
Kalani wire කිසිගින්නක් නැහැ.
කිසිගින්නක් නැහැ. Kalani Fire Shield Wire.
Opposition leader Sajith Premadasa was presented the election report on the 2024 presidential election prepared by the European Union election observers. The report was handed over during a meeting between opposition leader Sajith Premadasa, EU ambassador to Sri Lanka Carmen Moreno, deputy head of the EU delegation in Sri Lanka and the Maldives Lars Bredol, as well as chief observer and member of the European Parliament Nacho Sanchez Amor. Sri Lanka police revealed that the 283 million rupees in cash recently confiscated by the police narcotics bureau was traced to an underworld figure known by the alias Ran Malli, who is hiding overseas. The 283 million rupees represent the largest amount of cash to be confiscated from a drug trafficker in Sri Lanka. Police suspect that the funds were being prepared to be taken to Madagascar to be laundered.
During a raid on Thursday, the Police Narcotics Bureau confiscated 283 million rupees in cash stashed at a residence in Kurunegala. Investigations revealed that the money allegedly belonged to a suspect who is currently imprisoned. The suspect had been orchestrating the distribution of narcotics from within the prison. According to Sri Lanka police, the seizure of the 283 million rupees marks the largest sum of cash to have ever been confiscated from a drug trafficker in Sri Lanka. In addition to the cash, police were also able to seize 18 grams of crystal methamphetamine, a double cab, a van and a few gem-like stones during the operation. The suspect in question was produced before the Kurunegala Magistrates Court yesterday, where the magistrate granted permission to detain the suspect for 7 days for further interrogation. Following interrogation, the suspect had revealed that the stash of money belongs to an associate of an underworld figure known by the alias Harakkata. The associate, who is known by the alias Ran Malli, is reportedly hiding overseas. This individual had instructed the suspect to purchase a safe and place it at the residence in question in Kurunagala. The suspect had been identified as a resident of Dikwala and is reportedly an acquaintance of Ranmalli. Interrogations further revealed that the suspect had taken the stash of funds at the request of Ranmalli and had provided some of it to other individuals as per directives of Ranmalli. The suspect also had been distributing and receiving packages from unknown persons according to instructions of the associate of the same individual. Police further revealed that the suspect purchased the van and double cab, which were later seized as per the directives of Ranmalli, adding that the suspect was also instructed to register as a gem trader. The suspect also revealed that Ranmalli had provided him funds and instructed him to leave the country and commence a gem trading business in Madagascar using Sri Lankan gems. It was also revealed that the suspect had been receiving several phone calls from Ranmalli following his apprehension. The Police Narcotics Bureau is conducting further investigations into the suspect.
In further legal updates, the Terrorism Investigation Division has uncovered that the planned terror attack targeting the popular tourist destination Arugambay in October last year was intended to be executed by former LTTE members who had been released from prison. Presenting facts to court pertaining to the investigation, TID officials revealed that one of the suspects apprehended for allegedly planning the attack had made contact with an ex-LTTE member while they were both imprisoned. In October last year, the Terrorism Investigation Division apprehended 7 suspects for allegedly planning an attack on the popular tourist destination Arugambay on Sri Lanka's southeastern coast. These suspects were interrogated by the TID for 90 days, and yesterday 3 of the 7 suspects were produced before the Colombo Chief Magistrates Court. Presenting facts pertaining to the investigation, investigating officers told the court that the suspects had planned to launch the attack using former LTTE members who had been convicted for their involvement in terrorist activities and released after serving long sentences. The TID further revealed that the suspects had planned to execute the attack coinciding with the last presidential election and that they had deployed several individuals to film and take photographs of the Arugambay area on the 7th and 8th of October 2023. Investigating officers informed the court that the 3 suspects, Yogaraja Nirojan, Suresh Ranjana and W.A. Don Amarasiri, will be further interrogated regarding the matter. They also revealed that Bilal Ahmed, the first suspect in the case, had made contact with Anandan Sugadaran, who had been convicted over bombing a bus in Kasbava in 2008 while both were in prison. Meanwhile, Rajinder Kandagedara, the counsel for the suspects, claimed that either the TID or the police had obtained Bilal Ahmed's signature on certain documents. In response, the Colombo Additional Magistrate noted that the court had been monitoring the suspects since their detention for interrogation and that none of the suspects had complained to him regarding such incidents when he had visited them for observation. After considering the arguments presented by both parties, the magistrate ordered that the suspects be remanded until further instructions are received from the Attorney General. The Criminal Investigation Department has recorded a statement from the Director of the Parliament's Legislative Services regarding the inclusion of a doctorate before Minister of Justice and National Integration Harshana Nanayakara's name on the official website of the Parliament. This follows a notice issued by the CID to Jailath Pereira, who is both the Director of Legislative Services and the Acting Director of Communications of Parliament. Notably, this marks the second time he has appeared before the CID in connection with the investigation. Pereira was summoned for questioning by the CID due to the Secretariat, which is responsible for publishing MPs' names on the Parliament's website, falling under the authority of the Director General of Legislative Services. Previously, around 8 parliamentary officials were also summoned to the CID to provide statements regarding the matter. Additionally, CID officials visited the Parliament to record statements from officials as part of the ongoing inquiry. The investigation was initiated after Minister Harshana Nanayakara filed a complaint with the CID on the 16th of December last year, citing the publication of an incorrect information regarding him on the official Parliament website. The US Embassy in Sri Lanka, in collaboration with the Ministry of Culture and the Central Cultural Fund, launched a new conservation project to protect the ancient Tuparama Image House, a key site within the UNESCO World Heritage listed ancient city of Polonnaruwa. This initiative is funded by a grant of $109,000 from the US Ambassador's Fund for Cultural Preservation. The event held to mark the inauguration of the project was attended by US Ambassador to Sri Lanka Judy Chung and Minister of Buddha Sasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs Professor Hiniduma Sunil Senevi. During yesterday's ceremony, Ambassador Chung emphasized that through these initiatives, the United States will continue to assist Sri Lanka protect its heritage, promote sustainable tourism and attract global visitors to explore historical and cultural richness. The Tuparama image house, constructed in the 12th century as part of the Kingdom of Polonnaruwa, is a monumental site with a distinctive vaulted brick roof and stunning stucco decorations. This historical site suffered damage over time due to environmental factors, and the preservation project aims to prevent further deterioration while raising awareness about its cultural and historical significance. Meanwhile, Sri Lanka has been crowned the 9th best destination of 2025 by BBC Travel. The BBC, in its inaugural guide of the top destinations of the year, describes Sri Lanka as a resilient nation that is attempting to rebuild through tourism and admires the island's beauty and iconic experiences for tourists. BBC Travel has named 25 tourist destinations around the globe as the best places to travel this year. BBC's inaugural guide of the top destinations of the year was compiled with inputs from journalists at BBC Travel and leading sustainable travel authorities such as the United Nations World Tourism Organization, Sustainable Travel International, the Black Travel Alliance and the World Travel and Tourism Council. Among the 25 destinations, Sri Lanka has been ranked 9th. While highlighting the beauty and many other aspects of the island nation, BBC Travel also discusses how Sri Lanka aims to rebuild after suffering from the COVID pandemic, civil unrest and an economic crisis. BBC Travel describes Sri Lanka as a resilient country that hopes to strengthen itself through tourism. BBC commends Sri Lanka's adoption of the Good Travel Seal initiative created by the Green Destinations Organization in partnership with the Sri Lanka Tourism Development Authority and the UNDP Biodiversity Finance Initiative to promote local businesses that have adopted sustainable practices. The article, compiled by Claire Terrell, further highlights other aspects of Sri Lanka, such as legendary train rides to the mountainous region and hiking trails through tea plantations. Government's Clean Sri Lanka initiative was in full stride today as well, with several clean-up campaigns being organised and carried out across the island. Meanwhile, during an inspection at an abandoned granite quarry in Kakirava, National People's Power MP Thilina Samarakon stated that government will take measures to recommence its operations. Under the Clean Sri Lanka initiative, a clean-up campaign was carried out at the Anuradhapura Teaching Hospital under the directives of Minister of Trade and Commerce Wasantha Samarasinghe and Governor of the North Central Province Wasantha Jinadasa. During the campaign, a proper system was set up to dispose of the hospital's waste and hospital equipment was repaired. In the meantime, another clean-up campaign was carried out in Gangaihala Korale, Gampola, during which the Kurunduwatta bus stand and the Kurunduwatta hospital were cleaned with the participation of officials from Kurunduwatta Police and Pradeshya Sabha and public health inspectors. During the campaign, several restaurants, cafeterias and boutiques in Kurunduwatta were inspected and food unsuitable for consumption was destroyed. Meanwhile, the granite quarry in Ganewalpola, Kakirava, the operations of which have been suspended since April 2023, was inspected yesterday by National People's Power MP Thilina Samarakon. The inspection revealed dilapidated machinery including tippers, lorries and backhoes abandoned at the site.
පැදවිය හැකි වාහන 40කට ආසන්න ප්‍රමාණයක් තියෙනවා. මාර්ග සංවර්ධනයට අදාළ පැය 20කට වගේ කාලයක් දූප යන්ත්‍ර සූත්‍ර තියෙනවා. හොඳටම භාවිතයට ගන්න පුළුවන්. ඉදිරියේදී අපි අනිවාර්යයෙන් මේක සාර්ථකව ක්‍රියාත්මක කරන්න අවශ්‍ය වැඩපිළිවෙල සකස් කරනවා.
In business news, the Central Bank of Sri Lanka and the People's Bank of China have successfully renewed the bilateral currency swap agreement signed in 2021 for another 3 years under the terms and conditions stipulated in the original agreement. The Central Bank of Sri Lanka said the 10 billion yuan currency swap facility reflects the financial cooperation between China and Sri Lanka. Governor Dr. Nandalal Veerasinghe signed the agreement on behalf of the Central Bank of Sri Lanka, while Governor Pan Gongsheng signed on behalf of the People's Bank of China. And with that, we wrap up tonight's edition of First at 9. Thank you for joining and have a good night.